Welcome to Digimasters Shorts. We are your hosts, Adam Nagus
and Carly Wilson, delivering the latest scoop from the digital realm.
As weather balloon launches decline, small drones are emerging as vital tools for improving short-range forecasts. The gap matters because artificial intelligence weather models depend on fresh observations, particularly in the lowest kilometres of the atmosphere where most weather occurs. For decades, radiosondes carried sensors aloft twice a day, but staffing shortages have reduced launches at several US weather stations. Companies such as Switzerland's Meteomatics are offering reusable drones that measure temperature, humidity, pressure and wind before returning to the ground. The drones can provide more consistent coverage than single-use balloons and are increasingly moving from trials into operational forecasting. Energy traders are seeking the data because slightly more accurate predictions of wind, solar output and temperature can influence power and gas prices. Military planners also value the information when deciding when to fly, fire or move. The development highlights a limitation of leading AI forecasters from companies including Google DeepMind and Dua. Advanced models still require reliable real-time data. It also gives European firms such as Meteomatics a strategic role in supplying the hardware behind a rapidly expanding weather data market. The future of forecasting may therefore depend less on software alone and more on who can place the most useful sensors in the sky.
Abbott and Google have announced a multi-year agreement to integrate data from Abbott's Lingo continuous glucose monitor into the Google Health app. The integration will let users view glucose trends alongside activity, sleep, and other wellness information. Google's Gemini-powered health coach will use Lingo data to generate personalized recommendations about nutrition, exercise, sleep, and recovery. The service will require a Google Health Premium subscription and is not intended for medical purposes. Google warns that health coach responses may be inaccurate or incomplete and advises users to consult healthcare professionals before making medical decisions. Lingo is an over-the-counter monitor for adults who do not use insulin, tracking glucose continuously for up to 14 days without providing medical alerts. The companies also plan to study glucose readings alongside wearable, laboratory, and survey data to examine links between daily habits and metabolic health. The Lingo integration is expected to begin rolling out in the Google Health app later this year. Apple has reportedly developed a China-focused artificial intelligence model in partnership with Alibaba. The model was trained with support from the Chinese technology giant, marking a rare collaboration between companies from the United States and China. The move represents a shift from Apple's previous strategy of relying on domestic Chinese models to provide generative AI features. Apple is preparing to launch its Apple Intelligence service in China in the coming months through an iOS update. The company recently registered the service with China's cyberspace regulator, clearing a major regulatory hurdle. China requires artificial intelligence models to receive government approval before public release. Apple's custom model could give it greater control over its products in the competitive Chinese smartphone market. It could also make Apple the first US company approved to offer a proprietary AI model in China.
OpenAI's Enterprise AI report shows explosive ChatGPT usage but fails to establish that heavier use leads to higher revenue per employee. The report found that larger, more profitable companies tend to adopt ChatGPT earlier, while early career employees use it more intensively than executives. OpenAI's enterprise usage reportedly stalled late last year as Anthropic's Claude Code gained momentum before surging again in early 2026. The company has hired Dali Rajic as Chief Revenue Officer, replacing Denise Dresser after less than a year, as it prioritizes customer adoption and measurable business impact. Two academics who contributed to the report were paid contractors for OpenAI, raising questions about the study's independence. The findings reinforce that companies will need to measure AI's financial benefits through their own results rather than relying on industry hype. Elsewhere, Lovable has raised $400 million at a $13.3 billion valuation, while Anthropic is reportedly considering a record-setting public offering. Microsoft is moving toward a unified consumer and enterprise Copilot app as companies impose tighter limits on rising AI costs. Google also briefly displayed a false death date for OpenAI CEO Sam Altman after vandalism altered his Wikipedia entry, underscoring the fragility of online information systems.
Thank you for listening to today's AI and Tech News Podcast Summary. Please do leave us a comment, and for additional feedback, please email us at podcast@digimasters.co.uk. You can now follow us on Instagram and Threads by searching for @Digimaster Shorts or search for Digimasters on LinkedIn. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, and don't forget to follow or subscribe.